Hey folks, welcome to this special edition MC Commute, coming to you live from the official North American press introduction of BMW Motorrad's 2022 R18 Transcontinental. Let's swing a leg over this bad boy and see what it's like to ride. You! All right, boys and girls, here it is, BMW Motorrad's R18 Transcontinental luxury touring bike. This motorcycle is all new for the 2022 model year. It expands BMW Motorrad's cruiser lineup, which began last year with the 2021 R18. Then the R18 Classic was added, which is basically an R18 with 16-inch wheels and a windscreen and nice luggage. And then we have the R18B, which is the bagger variation of this motorcycle, designed to go up against American V-twins. And now we have the granddaddy of them all, the R18 Transcontinental. This motorcycle is designed for conventional cruiser riders who are looking for a motorcycle that they can tour the country on. This motorcycle is powered by BMW's 1802cc Boxer Twin. BMW has been crafting these engines for over 90 years. Isn't that crazy? 90 years of Boxer engine design and manufacturing in Germany. And look at that engine. Look how beautiful it is. This thing is just absolutely gorgeous. It is easily one of the most pretty motorcycle engines, or any kind of vehicle internal combustion engine, that I've seen in a long time. Now, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and this bike looks just like an Electra Glide. Come on. The front fairing, the wheels, the lines of the motorcycle is very, very based on Harley-Davidson's awesome Electra Glide. I really like the styling of this motorcycle. It almost looks like an Electra Glide crossed with a MGX21 Moto Guzzi, and you have this fine piece of jewelry. I also like the styling of the mechanical drive shaft right there. Look how pretty that thing is. Everything on this motorcycle just looks top notch. It looks like a two-wheeled piece of high-end jewelry. But enough talking about this motorcycle. Let's swing a leg over it and tell you what it's like to ride. Woo! All right, folks, here we are about to get on the 2022 BMW R18 Transcontinental. This is a new motorcycle from BMW Motorrad out of Berlin, Germany. Now, this particular motorcycle is the full dresser touring specific cruiser that BMW now offers. Now, earlier in the year, or actually last year, they debuted their R18 cruiser, which is just a conventional twin-cylinder cruiser modeled after Harley-Davidson's Softail Slim, I believe. Then we have the R18 Classic, which is a BMW twin-cylinder cruiser with a nice windshield and a set of luggage. And that motorcycle is more of along the lines of Harley-Davidson's Softail Heritage vehicle. Then we have the BMW R18B, which is the bagger style motorcycle right over there. That does not have the top case on it, nor this huge encompassing aerodynamics and these air levers here there that give more wind protection. And now we have the full dresser machine. Looking at that bagger over there, it is just so similar. This motorcycle just looks just like Moto Guzzi's MGX21. The lines on these bikes are very similar to the Moto Guzzi, in my opinion. It's also interesting that the Moto Guzzi has the same, not same boxer engine, but a horizontally mounted engine in a V configuration, which is kind of neat. So here we are hopping on this 2022 BMW R18 Transcontinental vehicle. We just had lunch at the Stanley Hotel here in Colorado, which you are going to see in a minute after we go around this curve. There is the Stanley Hotel to our right. And these touring style air-cooled touring bikes are a great way to log miles and see stuff and just enjoy the ride. There's the Stanley Hotel right there, guys. There it is. So these motorcycles are a great way just to log miles, see stuff, be comfortable. This motorcycle isn't about going extremely fast or hauling butt or doing anything crazy. This motorcycle is all about just cruising. And that is what we are doing right now. Now, this particular vehicle is powered by BMW's 1802cc Boxer Twin. This is an air-cooled engine that has pistons in opposed format. So one piston's on this side going this way, one piston's on this side going this way. And BMW likes to use this configuration, well, first off, because they've been doing it for over 90 years, and second off is the piston power strokes automatically neutralize vibration to a certain extent, so the engine is more balanced. So that is one of the reasons why they like to use this engine configuration. It also looks super cool, and it gives a good center of gravity for a motorcycle. Now, BMW, it's crazy to think, but they've literally been making these Boxer twin engines in Germany for over 90 years. Isn't that unbelievable? I love any company that has heritage and really takes pride in doing something well for a long period of time. And I have to give a lot of respect to the Motorrad factory for sticking to their guns and keep refining these engines into what they are today. And this engine is just awesome. It just delivers. I mean, first off, visually, looking at this engine, it's absolutely beautiful. I haven't seen an internal combustion engine that looks that good, aesthetically speaking, in a long time. It just looks like it almost looks like an electric motor, because the engine is just so precisely shaped. It's like a capsule of performance. Just a really nice job of styling the engine and making it look special. And this engine is special. Now, I also really like the sound and character of this engine. Now, these twin cylinder air-cooled cruiser style touring bikes, these bikes are all about having really good sound, having cool sound and engine character. And this powertrain absolutely has a very nice rumble to it. Not only is the rumble awesome here in the cabin, but the exhaust note, like, this is an awesome sounding motorcycle. Now, it sounds different than the other American competitors in the space, but I wouldn't say that their vehicles sound any better than this one. This one has a very unique tone to it, and it sounds awesome. I love how crisp the engine note is in the cockpit, and how
how clean the exhaust note is. Like, this is a great sounding motorcycle. You wouldn't have to put pipes on this thing because it sounds good from the factory, in my opinion. Now, this vehicle is controlled via ride-by-wire throttle. Now, ride-by-wire throttle connection is the apparatus that connects the engine and your right twist grip. This has allowed BMW to offer multiple power modes. So we have the aptly named rock setting, then we have a more touring friendly setting in roll, and we also have a rain setting. These settings can be all manipulated by this huge 10.5 inch color TFT display. I love this display. Look how big it is. It's huge. And the BMW multi-wheel interface, which they have here, this multi-wheel control dial, it is very easy to get acclimated to the various settings and the way it functions. Just from riding the BMW Motorrad bikes over the years, I think the multi-wheel started with the K1600 way back in 2012. But just all these bikes have that feature now, and it's just really easy to get a hold of things and figure things out just through this multi-wheel joystick, which gives you scrolling option forward and back, and then an actual twisting motion, or I'm sorry, a movement motion where you can go through the menu. Super easy to use, super simple. It almost feels like it was something that was designed by Apple, just because it's so easy to use. Now, this R18 Transcontinental comes with all the bells and whistles. We have tire pressure monitoring, which is awesome, so you can know exactly what your tire pressure is while you're riding. We have this super advanced trip computer, so we can keep tabs on our journey and our MPG. Speaking of MPG, we are averaging 39.8 miles per gallon. To be fair, we haven't really been riding this motorcycle at a super zippy pace. It's been a lot of this 40 mile per hour top gear or top gear-ish type cruising. So, you know, if I was riding it on my own, we definitely get worse gas mileage. But this is what we're getting for now. Now, it's worth noting we are at the official North American press launch event for the R18 Transcontinental, which you see here, and the R18B, which we operated earlier. So 2 new flavors, and we are here to create this content on this vehicle. Now, this motorcycle has heated seats, heated grips. It's all accessed through this 10.5 inch screen. We have go to the settings here, go to the right here, and that is where these things are accessed right there. Now, this space right here allows for you to connect your iOS enabled smartphone or your Android powered smartphone. You can download the BMW Motorad Connected App. This app is super slick. We've talked about it extensively in our other BMW reviews over the last couple of years, and this app is just slick. It allows you to have turn-by-turn navigation and directions right here on the display. It pushes that information to you, so you don't even have to look. You can put in a destination, it'll just tell you, go right here, go left there. It's super slick. The BMW Motorrad Connected App also lets you keep tabs on the remaining fuel inside the vehicle. It lets you keep tabs on service intervals. You can even schedule a service appointment right through that app. It's super slick, it's free to use, and I like it very, very, very much. Good job, BMW. We appreciate you Good job, BMW. We appreciate you paying attention to the technical details, and the BMW Motorrad Connected App definitely gets it done. Now, this engine is so awesome because it just puts out just a whopping spread of torque. I mean, right now we're riding in 6th gear. We'll put her in 6th gear. We have a nice heel toe shifter, which is super awesome, so we can actually upshift into another gear by just pressing back on the heel shifter. We are in top gear at 45 miles per hour, and this thing is just chugging along so nicely. I give her some gas like that, and the engine comes online immediately with a nice wave of torque. I love that tidal wave feeling of torque, just a really nice sensation and sound. Of course, if we want to downshift a couple gears in the 2nd gear, give her some beans, the engine is more than happy responding at a higher RPM. But to be fair, short shift, low revs is where this thing really likes being revved. Again, I really like the sensation of this engine. I like the sound of it. I like the vibration. The vibration is just enough to know that you're riding something special, but it's not so much vibration that it makes the ride annoying. It's also very well calibrated. You can tell BMW Motorrad put in a lot of time in tuning not only the harmonics, but the vibration pattern of the engine to get that favorable experience. The Tuning Fork brand is very, very good at tuning, of course, at tuning engine vibration for just the right sensation, and we appreciate that these companies are paying attention to subtle details like that. Now, the chassis on this motorcycle, this has a really magnificent looking double loop steel frame. The frame just looks awesome. It looks like the original BMW R bike from 1936. It just has those same lines. Everywhere I ride my BMW Cruiser motorcycles, it's crazy because I'll ride these bikes, you know, to get lunch, to get gas, to do whatever I gotta do, and I'll pull up somewhere and just people who don't ride motorcycles or just normal civilians, they'll go up to me and they'll be like, wow, that bike just, it looks old, but it looks new. Like, everyone I see always nails it on the first time. They know that it looks retro, and yet they know it is a brand new motorcycle because it's got all the sick LED lights and just looks new and sick. But they know that styling and that the lines of that motorcycle are classic. How do they know that? Who even knows? But they do. And this is the first motorcycle, or the first 4 types of motorcycles I've ridden where people just get that off the bat. You ride a brand new Harley Davidson, for example, like a new Softail, people aren't going to think that's an old bike or a new bike, really. It's just it's a whole different mindset, and I really like that. Back to the chassis, we have a steel frame. This frame has been modified. It has a beefier headstock, it has a beefier subframe area to accommodate the extra payload and accoutrement that this vehicle is carrying. The steering geometry has been modified too, so this thing has sharper steering geometry than the R18 or R18 Classic. That gives this 941 pound bike a lot of maneuverability. It is really pretty insane how maneuverable this 941 pound R18 Transcontinental is. Now, a lot of spec sheet mavens are grumbling about the weight of this motorcycle, and yeah, 941 pounds, that is a lot of weight. But realistically, this motorcycle only weighs 7% more than a comparable motorcycle from an American manufacturer. 7%. So realistically, when you're buying these bikes are big, heavy bikes. They're not sport bikes. Light is not right with these vehicles. So what's another 7%? In motion like this, you can't even feel it anyway, so it doesn't even matter. You can definitely feel its weight though when you are lifting this vehicle off the side stand. No doubt, this beautifully honed boxer engine definitely weighs a lot. It is heavy. Thank goodness though that most of its weight is carried very low, so that makes it a little bit less of a chore to lift off a side stand, but you're still going to have to use some muscle. But in motion, it is really impressive how maneuverable this motorcycle has. Now, the suspension travel on this bike is not as limited as it is on the R18 and R18 Classic. Those two vehicles have more limited rear suspension travel, and I like this full suspension. Full suspension is just a good thing. It just gives much better comfort and handling performance. The shorter suspension, I know it's a styling thing, but it'd be really nice if these companies could just give full suspension and just have it styled like a rigid hardtail motorcycle or a more limited suspension travel motorcycle. We want full travel all the time. There's never an instance where you wouldn't want full suspension travel unless we were like drag racing. If we were drag racing, maybe more limited rear suspension travel would be a good thing. But if we're not drag racing, just give us the full suspension travel, please. So, very sweet ride. Now, riding this motorcycle at 15 miles per hour in 4th gear, this air-cooled engine does throw off some BTUs. There is definitely some heat being transferred onto my right and left feet, especially the left foot. For whatever reason, there is more engine heat emitting onto my left foot than the right foot. I have vented boots, so my feet aren't totally dying in agony of heat, but this motorcycle kicks off some heat. There is no way around that. Your feet are going to heat up just because of the configuration of the engine. Now, the cockpit, I don't feel a lot of heat or any excessive heat from the engine inside the cockpit. It's simply on my feet from those two honking cylinders sticking out in front of them. Another caveat in the comfort segment about this motorcycle and a motorcycle employing this engine configuration is we don't have any super like spread out floorboards. You can't have that because the engine's in the way, which is kind of a bummer. You know, I really like putting my feet in the wind when I'm riding these kind of bikes. Yeah, you can kind of put them up on this crash bar like I'm doing now, but that's not optimum and not ideal. So you're kind of just stuck with these mid controls, which we have here. The floorboards are nice. I like the platform they give, and I like that heel toe shifter, but you're not going to be able to really stretch out like you could on an American motorcycle or a metric motorcycle with a more conventional V-twin, longitudinally mounted V-twin engine. Instrumentation, complementing that huge 10.5-inch color TFT display that is touchscreen sensitive away from being perfect. BMW, why can't we have touchscreen sensitivity? That would make it super sick. Please. This has this nice elegant 4-gauge cluster. We have a fuel gauge which keeps tabs on the 6.2 gallon fuel cell. We have a speedometer, analog speedometer, which keeps track of the vehicle speed. We have our tachometer, which keeps track of the engine running speed, and we have this power reserve gauge. Now, this power reserve gauge is kind of goofy to me. It's like, what is a power reserve gauge? And the best way I can recommend explaining it is the power reserve gauge is kind of like an EGT gauge. For those of you who are into high performance vehicles and flying and that kind of stuff, you probably are familiar with an exhaust gas temperature. I have one of those gauges fitted in my diesel pickup truck because your exhaust gas temperature is a key way to tell if your motorcycle is working hard or not. And that's what this gauge basically does. So when I'm off throttle, I have full power reserve, meaning the engine is not working hard right now and has full capability of making max performance. Now, when I give it the beans in fourth gear here, you can see that gauge just going down. That means that the engine is working. The engine's loaded up and it is working. It is combusting the air fuel mixture and putting it into propulsion that goes to the beautifully machined shaft drive and back to the 16-inch rear wheel. So kind of quirky, kind of goofy, but you can think of this as an exhaust gas temperature gauge. BMW, why not just put an exhaust gas temperature gauge right there and call her good? That's what I'd like to see. I love EGTs, and that would have been a cooler thing than this power reserve dial. But still cool that they're trying to do something different and probably just have some fill out the space a little bit better. Now, this motorcycle, you couldn't have a touring bike if you didn't have a nice radio. So we have Sirius XM set up on this motorcycle. Let's listen to some tunes here. We can control the volume out of the Marshall powered speaker stereo. Isn't that cool? It has Marshall speakers. That's boss. With BMW's multi-wheel control. We can also flip through stations. Oh yeah, I love hip-hop. We'll listen to some Eminem. So we can listen to our tunes and our sick rap music via this display, the 4-speaker Marshall stereo system, and control our volume through the multi-wheel function device. Now this stereo, I really have to admit, like the treble sounds good, the bass is actually pretty decent, but the absolute power level, like these speakers just don't get loud enough. This is max volume. This is max volume and it's just not loud enough for me. I would need at least 33% louder sound for this to really be a functional stereo, which is kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer. The stereo speakers need to be louder, BMW. I hope you are listening. Haha. All right, folks. Now, riding position. Now, this motorcycle feels eerily similar to Harley Davidson's Electra Glide, and the bagger version, the R18B, feels eerily similar to the Street Glide. It is crazy how similar these bikes feel compared to their American counterparts. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and Motorrad definitely was impressed with the way Harley Davidson specifically builds their touring bikes. These motorcycles feel very, very similar. I like the handlebar. It has a nice high position, but it's not too high. The spacing of the handlebar is nice and wide. I have nice control. The handlebar maybe could be a little bit more outward. I like a little bit less sweep, so a little bit more sweep outward if this handlebar was mine. But this, all in all, this handlebar is very comfortable and it has good vehicle control. I like how nice and high it is, so I have a good commanding stance of this motorcycle. The seat has a nice deep dish in it. It's got a nice deep dish. It really holds my posterior very well. the space between the seat and the handlebar, I'm not gonna say it's cramped, and it's not too big either. It's real neutral. I think this space will fit a good range of motorcycle riders, both short and tall. I'm 6 foot tall. I am a bigger guy, and a little bit more cockpit room wouldn't really be a bad thing for me. I don't think I could have a little bit more spacing, but even in this setting, it is not bad by any means. All right, folks, we're going to take a time out. We're doing our photo stop now, so we have some nice images for all of our fans and audience and readers to see on motorcyclistonline.com, and then we'll check in with you in a little bit. All right, folks, while we're doing our photo stop, let's talk about the styling of this vehicle. There is that encapsulated R18 1802cc Boxer twin. Look how good that engine looks. Look at the awesome fins that are used not only to look cool, but to dissipate heat from the engine. There also is an oil cooler to make sure that oil doesn't get too hot right there on the chin of the motorcycle behind the front fender. God, this motorcycle looks awesome. And like we said before, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. This thing looks like a Harley Davidson, and that's not a bad thing, because those touring bikes look awesome. Very aesthetically pleasing motorcycle. I like the fit and finish on this motorcycle. Everything is put together very well. There's that D style cradle steel frame, a very awesome looking frame. I love this drive shaft. That drive shaft is exposed so you can see it spinning when the motorcycle's moving. Very nice, awesome styling to it. Not only does it look cool, but it functions well too. My only real gripe with this motorcycle is this. I can see the fuse box and the battery cables. I can see those right here. That is a little bit of a styling faux pas for me, but besides that, that is a very nice looking bike. Let's look at the trunk in this bike. There is the lever to do the trunk. I think probably have to turn the bike off somehow. Let's turn it off, and let's open the trunk. I think I've locked the trunk, so let's turn the power on. Let's hit this button here. It is unlocked. Here we go. Here is the trunk. Very nice sized. Easily put a full face helmet in this trunk. We have some more storage right here. These levers are very easy to operate. Very simple. I like that. Simple is good in my opinion. Here's some more storage we have here. Right there. Very nice. There's another styling faux pas. That exposed wire, that would annoy me. We have floorboards for our passenger and a nice big seat here. Very nice. Now I made a mistake. This is actually a 6-speaker stereo. 2 speakers here, 2 in the fixed side bags, and then 2 up front. 6-speaker system. How awesome is that? We also have an area to fuel our phone and to put our iPhone or any other gadget, which we can put right here. Very nice BMW. We are very appreciative that you are paying attention to the details. Yes, that's one of my colleagues right there. He was probably coming over to talk to me. His mother's feline just passed away, and he's a big feline lover, and I think I'm gonna adopt a cat here in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that, guys. All right, quick wrap up of the styling of this vehicle. Let's get back on it and talk about it some more. All right, folks, we are entering Big Thompson Canyon here in Colorado. And what a way to soak up the scenery of Mother Nature's power and force and just beauty than on this classically styled air-cooled boxer twin cruiser. Now, this particular vehicle is priced at $25,000. $25,000 for this bike, which realistically is one heck of a deal for a motorcycle that has this level of refinement and creature comforts and usability. This motorcycle is designed for making long hauls and touring the country, and $25,000 to have a motorcycle that's built in Berlin, Germany. Yes, this motorcycle is literally built in Germany, Berlin, Germany. And to have it have all the bells and whistles and the superior ride and craftsmanship that this vehicle has for 25 grand, I think it is a very good deal. It's also worth noting that BMW Motorrad supports its vehicles with a 3-year 36,000 mile warranty. Yeah, that's right, these motorcycles come with a 3-year 36,000 mile warranty with roadside assistance. That is a very good warranty. It's neat that BMW stands behind its products. Of course, you can purchase additional warranty to extend that duration out, but from the factory, 3-year 36,000 mile warranty. Pretty neat. This time we're not going to be able to talk about maintenance. We didn't have a chance to investigate the maintenance on this vehicle, so we'll have to do that on another episode, which we will be doing very soon. And we also were not able to ride this motorcycle after dark because we are at a press event and we are held to whatever our hosts want to do. So hopefully we can ride this motorcycle after dark and report on the function of the LED headlamps. All right, folks, I'm gonna get back to riding and taking in this enjoyable scenery. We will check in with you guys in a little bit. All right, folks, one thing we forgot to talk about is the adaptive cruise control. That is right, this 2022 R18 Transcontinental has adaptive cruise control via this radar device. This is included in the ZPP package, which is another $3,200 on top of the $24,995 MSRP. So adaptive cruise control, so this motorcycle will keep tabs on the vehicle in front of it and be able to match its speed. All right, folks, we just left our photo stop, yet another photo stop to bring everyone the nice visual content. We are going to activate cruise control. Cruise control is manipulated via this switch gear on the left hand side of the handlebar. BMW always uses this setup and I like it a lot. It's really easy to use. You slide it to turn it on, push it to set it, pull it towards you to slow down, go, pull it, push it away for you to speed up. We have it tracked on the vehicle in front of us. This green light has illuminated, which shows us that we are tracking that vehicle. I just manually disabled it, but now we're back. So now we are following that motorcycle adaptively. How neat is that, boys and girls? Very awesome technology. Kudos obviously to the Borgo Panigale factory at being the first to market with that, but it's also cool that Motorrad crew has rolled it out on its on its R18 Transcontinental. Now, one complaint some folks might have with this bike, especially old timers, will be the navigation solution. So as we said before, you have to have the BMW Motorrad Connected App downloaded on your smartphone, paired to the motorcycle, the app on for it to navigate. There is no other GPS navigation system like there is on, let's say, the Goldwing, where it's just integrated into the bike. There's no GPS integrated into the bike. You have to run it off the BMW Motorrad Connected App. This isn't a big deal for me. I'm a big fan of the Motorrad Connected App, so for me it's absolutely fine to do it that way, and the app's super easy to pair, it's super fluid, works great. But some of the old timers out there, they will probably have a conniption because there is no traditional GPS maps on this motorcycle. But like I said, something that I could easily live with. Now, this R18 Transcontinental rolls on a 19-inch front wheel and a 16-inch rear wheel. So same wheel size as the R18 Cruiser. This particular vehicle is shod with Bridgestone's Battle Cruise H50 tire. This is a good Japanese made tire that has good long life and good grip over the duration of its lifespan. I've ridden on these H50s for many years now, and even though they're a little bit more of an obscure model within the cruiser tire segment, they are a good tire at a good price. We are now in the city through a little bit of stop and go traffic, and I really like how the synchronization of the throttle, the clutch, this motorcycle has above average low speed manners, and it's a very easy motorcycle to get underway. The clutch, even though it does have hydraulic assist, you still need to have a little bit of muscle to use the clutch. Now, it's not quite as stiff as the American variants, but it's not just a wimpy clutch either. I'd say it's pretty good because it's just 95% what an American clutch would be, just a little bit softer, which is nice. And the clutch also has good feel. Like, you could feel those plates when you're launching. You can feel that the meshing sensation. The clutch has much more feel than some of the American bikes. The American bikes have real vague engagement points. You don't really know where the clutch is until it's all the way out. This bike has greater clutch feel. Now, one drawback, we talked about the engine and the horizontally opposed cylinders, and this bike does pump out some heat into the cockpit when you're riding in stop and go conditions. We are riding is 83 degrees out right now on the thermometer, so not the hottest day, but not the coolest either. And through this stop and go traffic, I definitely feel some heat, not only on my feet but on my legs, and it makes this a little bit less comfortable than a motorcycle that had a little bit better heat management. But to be fair, these V-twin and Boxer twin type of cruisers, they throw off heat. They don't have water cooling. They have the engine literally right underneath you and exposed, and that is just a signature trait almost of these kind of bikes. An electronically adjustable windshield would also be nice. Right now, riding in the city, I would like a little bit more airflow on me. It'd be nice if we could lower this down so I could have a little bit more air inside the cockpit. Conversely, when we're on the freeway, just logging miles, it would be able to nice to be able to raise that thing up. Electronic windshield would be a nice addition to this vehicle.
All right, folks, there it is. BMW's 2022 R18 Transcontinental. It was a fun afternoon getting to experience the Motorrad crew's take on cruiser luxury touring. Now, would I pony up $31,000? That's right. Although the base price for this vehicle is $24,995. When you add all the option packages this particular bike has, the MSRP is over $31,000. I wouldn't spend $31,000 on this bike. Not that it's a nice bike, it's just these air-cooled luxury touring cruisers aren't really my jam. I'd gravitate toward maybe a Goldwing because that suits my riding style a little bit more. But if I was in the market for a big heavyweight luxury touring bike, I absolutely would consider this motorcycle. It has a great powertrain, tons of charisma, tons of engine sound, good handling, excellent craftsmanship and fit and finish. I like all of the bells and whistles this bike has, and I like that it comes with a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty with roadside assistance. So I absolutely would consider purchasing this motorcycle if I was looking for a heavyweight air-cooled touring bike, the likes of a Harley Davidson, the likes of an Indian motorcycle. Well, folks, that's a wrap from the official press introduction of the 2022 R18 Transcontinental Cruiser. Make sure to surf on over to Motorcyclist online. That is where all of my written content lives. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs it down if you didn't, and we will see you on a following episode. Thank you for taking a moment to tune in to this 4K premium content. See ya.